What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Inside the Horseshoe. My name is Matt, and we're only a few days away from the Colts season opener. I am so pumped and excited for it, but I do have some questions about this team, and I'm going to go through those questions in this video. But before I do that, if you're new or if you haven't already, I would greatly appreciate it if you would click that subscribe button. Also, click the bell icon while you're at it. That way you're notified whenever a video goes up, as well as when we go live on here. If you like this video, smack that like button and let me know your questions about this team in the comments below. So, with that being said, let's get into the first question I have about this Colts team, and that is simply this: will Carson Wentz have a bounce back season? Now, look, we all know how last year went. Carson Wentz led the league in interceptions, and he didn't even play all of last year. That's terrible. That's unacceptable. That is not good at all. And I get it. The Eagles had a lot of injuries that season. They did, and that team wasn't really that good at all. But Carson Wentz still has to rise above that and play well. He just has to. That is the difference between a good quarterback and a really good quarterback. He has to rise to the occasion. He has to put the team on his back, and he has to put them in a position where they can win. He just has to do that, and he didn't do that last year. So, with that being said, he's on a new team with a much better offensive line. I would say a better offense in general, better receivers, a better running back group, much better defense, better coaching staff. Like, he has everything he needs. And a lot of people, a lot of Colts fans do believe that Carson Wentz is that missing piece to put this team in Super Bowl contention. Like, we all love Phillip Rivers. We absolutely do. And Phillip Rivers did good last year. He really did. And I would have been very curious to see how well he would have played if he didn't retire and if he would have came back for this season. But he retired. That is, what it is. So now we got Carson Wentz on this team. So, you know, now Carson Wentz gives you that ability to extend plays with his legs. Phillip Rivers didn't do that. So people believe because he has everything you need in a quarterback, if he can put it all together, he's that missing piece to put the Colts in a good position to make a run for a Super Bowl. Maybe not this year, but definitely next year and for years after that. So, can Carson Wentz bounce back? I believe he can. He has everything he needs to bounce back, and it feels like he's in the right headspace. But with that being said, will he? That is the question, and we're going to find that out potentially Sunday. Another thing I'm curious about with this team is Marlon Mack, and more specifically, can Marlon Mack get back to what he was before that season-ending injury he had last year? Because look, that 2019 season, Marlon Mack was really good. He ran for over 1,000 yards. He seemed like he was one of those running backs that, as the game would progress, he would continuously get better and better, which is something I think we're going to need as the year goes on, having that running back that can get better and better as the game goes on. And if Marlon Mack can get back to what he was, that can be very valuable for us. He can be really, really valuable. Now, I do believe with Marlon Mack, it's probably going to take him a couple games to get back to it because, the regular season, it's different than preseason. Like, he played in the preseason a little bit. We didn't really get to see a whole lot from him in the preseason and what he could offer, mostly because our offensive line was absolutely terrible in the games he would play in. But still, with Marlon Mack, I think we need to give him a few more games before we determine whether he is back to what he is or if he's just not going to get to that level. I do think by week 4, we're going to have a pretty good idea if he can. But that is something I'm really curious about because if Marlon Mack can get back to what he was prior to that injury, this is going to be a really scary running back group. And it's already a pretty scary running back group with Jonathan Taylor and Naheem Hines. It already is. Now you throw Marlon Mack, who is similar or as good as what he was in 2019. Cleveland, you got a great running back group, okay? Nick Chubb, you got you got those guys there, Kareem Hunt, but not better than Indy. And I think Indy has the better running back group if Marlon Mack can get better. So that is something I'm really curious about. And I think that's going to be very important for this team too. If he can get to where he was prior to that injury, not only is it going to be big for us, it's going to be big for him because if he wants to be that starting running back, there's going to be teams that are going to want a running back, and he could definitely fill in for those teams and take that starting spot. Another question I have about this Colts team is, can Michael Pittman or Paris Campbell become a true number one receiver for the Colts? Now, look, we all know that T.Y. Hilton is eventually going to retire. I happen to believe, especially after that injury he had this offseason, I expect it to be after this year. So the Colts do need to find out this year if Michael Pittman or Paris Campbell can step up, take over for T.Y., and become a true number one receiver. I'm not talking about some guy who will come in, get you 60 yards, and, that will be that. I'm talking about somebody who will make big plays when it matters the most. Somebody who will be huge for us in crucial moments. I'm talking about somebody like that. Somebody that Carson can rely on in any situation whatsoever. So that's what I'm talking about. And we're going to find that out this year for sure. While TY's out, we're going to be playing against the Rams, who have Jalen Ramsey. So we're going to know if Michael Pittman or Paris Campbell can step up, or both can step up and make big plays in that game. We're going to find out. And if they can, then I think we know our answer. One of them can be the number one receiver. But if they're not going to play all that great against corners like a Jalen Ramsey or whatever, but they'll play great against average corners, maybe they aren't. But, we'll find out this year. I truly believe we will. After week 2, we'll know if Michael Pittman or Paris Campbell can become that player that the Colts are wanting them to become. Because the Colts believe in both of them. They believe that Paris and Michael Pittman are going to be big time receivers. So we're going to find out. We'll find out this year, and then TY will come back and, we'll ride with him until the season ends, and then odds are he'll be gone after that. I'm also curious about Kwity Paye and if he can help this Colts defensive line become elite, because last year our Colts defensive line was really good. Adding DeForest Buckner was big for our defensive line, but it wasn't elite. So I like to use the Buffalo Bills game, for example, because yeah, we were really good against the run in that game, but we weren't able to apply enough pressure to where we were forcing Josh Allen to make some mistakes. And I believe a reason why we weren't able to do that is because our edge presence wasn't the greatest. It wasn't like terrible or anything, but it wasn't good enough to cause Josh Allen to make mistakes. We weren't really able to do that. So you add Kwity Paye, who I believe will make this defensive line better because he is a better edge than what we have on the team at the moment. But can he help it become elite? Can he help this defensive line become a top 3, top 2, or even best defensive line in the league? We're going to find that out. Plus, if he does good enough and this defensive line can become elite, it's going to help our secondary out big time. And another thing I'm curious about, and this is going to be the last thing I talk about today, and that is simply Rocky Sin. Can he step up and perform well? He won that third cornerback spot. Some will say by default. I'm not going to say that. Rocky Sin won the spot, and he is our third cornerback. And that worries some Colts fans. It really does, because he's made mistakes in the past. There have been games where he has not performed well in the past. So people are worried that, especially with some of the receivers we're going to be going up against, Stephon Diggs, DeAndre Hopkins, Julio Jones, A.J. Brown. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. We're going up against some really good receivers this year. So Rock has to step up and he has to perform well, because if he doesn't, he's going to get replaced. This is his last chance. This is it for Rock. If he does not step up and perform well, he is done. And he knows that, because it's not his contract year. Next year is. So if he wants to get that extension and continue to be employed in the NFL, he's going to have to earn it. He's going to have to play well this year, and he knows that. I believe in Rock. Not a lot of people do. I believe in Rock. But I'm ready to accept that I was wrong because of his past. So that's a big question I have. Can he step up and perform well? I don't need him to be fantastic. He just needs to play well. That's it. Don't make a lot of mistakes. Don't be too grabby with the receivers. Just go out there, stay with the receiver. Don't let him break free from you. Do your job, and you'll be good to go. That's all you have to do, Rock. So thank you all for tuning in to this episode of Inside the Horseshoe. If you're new, I would greatly appreciate it if you would click that subscribe button. Also, click the bell icon so you're notified whenever any content in general goes up. If you like this video, smash that like button. And again, let me know in the comments below what you have as questions for this Colts team. So thank you very much for watching. I've been Matt, Bleed Blue, and we'll see you next time. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you like it, make sure you watch one of these other 2 videos. They're cool. Also, if you're new, please click the subscribe button as well as the bell icon. I greatly appreciate your support.